Okay, so we are continuing with the amazing teachings of Rabbi Nachman from Breslov, and tonight we're doing Sichot Haran, Torah 51, Nun Aleph, and the truth is that it's not clear to me exactly how Rabbi Nachman was giving this class when he originally gave it, because it's actually a bunch of different ideas. It goes from idea to idea, and I do see somewhat of a thread that brings them together, but it's absolutely a bunch of a collage of different things that he wanted to bring out, and like someone put them in the same, Reb Nosson put them into the same paragraph, into the same teaching. So I'm going to try to look for some way of understanding how these things actually work together. I think that if I would have to give a title to this Torah, so it would be Just Chill Out. And there's a lot of people that they take life very, very seriously, and because they take life so seriously, so they get actually very distracted. And so it's lots of different ways of looking at this idea of just calming down, just chilling out. And so everybody needs to know that if you want to be a real Breslover, so you have to know how to chill. Okay? So something you have to learn in school and practice, and then maybe one day we'll get it. So he starts like this: Ha'olam hazeh eino klum. Ha'olam hazeh eino klum. That there's this world. Forget about it. It's nothing. It's nothing. It's not. It's like if you ever if somebody's like if somebody asks you where you're from, and they say New York, and it's like, oh, I wish I could be like, it's okay, forget about it. You're not missing anything, and you're really doing perfect if you're living in Israel. And shout out to all the people from New York that are blessed not to.
Today is also a perfect day to be
not to be, yeah, exactly, not to be in New York. So I saw there was a meme today, like things to do in New York. Number one, leave. So. Olam hazeh eino klum. This world is nothing. This goes together with another statement that Rabbi Nachman made once. That he said the Welt sagt, the people say that they know that there's Olam hazeh. They know that there's this world, and they believe in the world to come. They believe in Olam haba. Me, I know that there's Olam haba. I know that there's a world to come. I believe that there's a world Olam hazeh. I believe that somewhere out there's like a world, a physical world that's worth living. In the meantime, he says, I haven't seen Olam hazeh. In the meantime, everything I've experienced is pure hell. So, somewhere, could somebody please show me where there's actually Olam hazeh? Where everything he's seeing is Gehenim. So this is something that he was very much into and very much fond of saying that Olam hazeh is mamish nothing. Olam hazeh is nothing so to be so excited about. If you want something worthwhile, if you want to use your time wisely, if you want to use your life wisely, so think about the tachlis hanitzchi, the eternal goal. Okay, meaning that think about your existence for all eternity. Okay, this is something that Rabbi Nachman would talk about a lot, that he wants people to know that, I think we spoke about this not long ago, that you are, for all eternity, what you make yourself to be during your lifetime. That meaning, we're actually building ourselves, we're actually changing ourselves, we're actually fixing ourselves, and that a person is born a baby, and he's born with immature tendencies, and he could get angry, and he could take everything personally, and he could be lazy, and we're here to improve ourselves. We're here to make ourselves into really better people, into people that are wow, that's a person. I want to be like that, and whatever you make yourself out to be, that's what you're going to be for all eternity. When you die, so that is the way that you experience life, that you're at the post-life. That's the way that's the way your consciousness is going to work for the rest of eternity. Eternity is a long time. It's not more than 1 year, more than 10 years. It's eternity. So for all eternity, we are what we make ourselves to be. And if we're going to hope that I'll be a person that's always always getting angry and always snapping at people and always nobody's okay, but at least when I die, then finally I'll be able to have peace. said, nope. Rabbi Nachman says, you for all eternity, you're going to be that same snappy person. You're going to be that same person that's embarrassed from yourself. That you're going to be that you're stuck. There's only one way out, and that is to actually face your problems, actually to work on yourself, and Tachlis Nitzchi is that what you make out of this world, that is your eternity. That is your eternity. So he says, he says the one thing, the first thing that he wanted to talk about is that something that he feels brings people away from the Tachlis Nitzchi, brings people away from the goal, is that they want to be billionaires, that they want to be rich. This, Rabbi Nachman says, is a big problem, that it's the people are desiring to become very rich, and because they're desiring to be very rich, so it takes them away from the Tachlis HaNitzchi, it takes them away from their eternal goal. So, this is something that Rabbi Nachman talks about in many places. This is a mainstream Jewish goal. I think it's very beautiful that Judaism is unique in the fact that we talk about what's called in Hebrew ta'avat mammon, the lust for money. Lust for money. We talk about lust for money as a negative trait. Okay, it talks about three lusts. That there's teves achila, that there's lust for food. There's sexual lust, and there's lust for money. Like there's three lusts that are negative and can detrimental. And so it's a very interesting thing that, like I once heard from Moshe Weinberger, that in terms of like the world has realized that there's detrimental habits, the detrimental desires, the people that want to connect to alcohol in a bad way, people that want to connect to substances, that want to connect to porn, that wants to connect to sex. There's lots of things. There's lots of the realizations. The world is coming to understand that we need to wean ourselves out of these things. That we have 12-step process. We have support groups. He says he's never heard of a support group for people who are addicted to making money. That it's that yeah, oh my gosh, like after my second million, I told myself, okay, now you can like calm down and say, but no, I just needed my third million and my fourth million, and that yeah, the same, like people should be getting together and realizing that like I'm ruining my life because I'm addicted to money, I'm addicted to making money, I'm addicted to both of them. The truth is that they're interconnected, and people, the world has not figured it out yet. The world and the opposite, the world idolizes these people. The world says these are my heroes. I want to be that guy, and so Rabbi Nachman says that it's a horrible thing. That a person should not want to be a millionaire. Okay,
But you could help people.
Who wants to be a millionaire? Not us.
But
Okay,
you can help people.
So I mean, the truth is, there's nothing wrong with being okay with being a millionaire or even a billionaire. That I like to say that from the Lubavitch Rebbe that he would say that parnasa is for Goyim. Ramon, if you want to put on the air conditioner, you know where it is? Like over there? Yeah. The remote is over there, in the electric box. So the Lubavitch Rebbe would say that parnasa is for Goyim. That, like, what does it mean, parnasa is for Goyim? Parnasa means livelihood. That he meant that you shouldn't bless people for parnasa, because parnasa is for Goyim. That for a Yid, we don't give him a blessing that he should have a livelihood. We give him a blessing that he should be filthy rich. Ashiras. For a Yid, only ashiras. Only to be mamish rich. Like, we don't want livelihood. Livelihood sounds like we're like making it by. We're basically like above the water. That's like, so parnasa is for Goyim, for Yidden, we want ashiras. Okay, so there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with being rich, and we shouldn't not want to be rich. The problem is when we are addicted to it, when that is our goal. There's a serious issue when a person has a goal that, what do you want to get out of life? I want to be a millionaire. I want to be filthy rich. That is going to be a problem, says Rabbi Nachman.
What if somebody wants to build a shul? They have to be a millionaire.
So that says Rabbi Nachman, that desire is going to keep you away, it's going to distract you from the Tachlis HaNitzchi, from your eternal goal. And so, and then of course that is exactly what your Yetzer Hara tells you when you have this addiction. So So you don't tell yourself, yes, I'm addicted to money, I'm addicted to being rich. That you tell yourself, yes, yeah, I want to build a shul. and that sounds much better than I want to just
No, but
make
generally,
faces at those
I pray
people.
to God, I want to make money because I actually if I make money, give money to tzedakah, and I actually mean it.
That's number two. Number two is I want to give a lot of tzedakah.
No, but I'm actually I'm actually sincere. I'm not I feel like if I make money, I could also.
So
help
Menachem is
people.
suggesting that you should sincerely invest in your eternal goal. And instead of working on being a millionaire, so you should think of, for all eternity, how can I make myself into the best version of myself? And the biggest distraction, says Reb Nachman, to becoming the best version of yourself is the drive to become a billionaire. Okay?
Sounds very socialist.
You've been watching the news too much. So the desire to be rich, is something, says Rabbi Nachman, that takes us away from our goal in a very dangerous way. And so the Ayat Sahara, after, of course, it tells us all of the justifications of that. It's not that I want to be rich. It's really just that I want to build a shul. It's really just that I want to support yeshivas, and it's that I want to support all the homeless people. That the next thing he says is that look at all these billionaires, that they're such good people. They're such good people. They are not distracted from their goal. That they're mamish. They're talking at all these events, and they're mamish promoting Torah, and they have their values straight, and they have good morality, and I'm just going to be like that. And what you don't know, if you would talk to these people, they would probably be the first ones to tell you that they are the exception, not the rule. Right? They know that of all the people that are just as wise as them, if not more wise, and just as talented, if not more talented, that 99% of the people flopped. 99% of those people did not become billionaires, and they're just working, and dealing with debt, and dealing with anxiety, and that it's very, very. You have to be very lucky. To becoming a billionaire, you have to be very lucky. And all the real billionaires, they say that, yes, I'm blessed. They say they listen to them. They don't. Nobody claims that they become a billionaire because of their talent. Nobody claims that they're a billionaire because I have the secret to becoming a billionaire. And because there's no secret, because 99% of the people that do exactly the same thing as them flop. And so the truth is that if you're going to look at these people and say, I want to be like them, so 99% chance that you're going to fail. Okay, and besides the fact that even those people that do seem to succeed, that they become billionaires, so what percentage of the people that become billionaires remain with their head on their shoulders? That even if you're that 1% that actually becomes a billionaire. So many of the people that actually become billionaires. So even though when they were broke, so they said, I want to build a shul. I'm going to give a lot of tzedakah. And then suddenly, when they became a billionaire, so then they forgot. They said, now I see things with a different perspective, and I need to buy my 12th car, and I need to, there's other things that come before feeding the poor and building another shul and whatever, and so that's certainly that even that people that become rich, so then they forget their great intentions, and moreover, and this is the most important thing, that even if you actually make it to be a billionaire and you don't lose your mind in the process, you actually keep your values, Rabbi Nachman says that you're actually not going to be happier. You're actually not going to be happier. He says like this, that this world, so it tricks a person. That it gives you the impression that you're actually making money. At the end, it's nothing. That they work for many, many years, and then at the end, they go bankrupt. That there's nothing left. I had a colleague that in one of the schools that I once worked in, that he told me that he was teaching this yeshiva, and at some point he decided to leave teaching, and he went into building, he was I forgot what it's called, like a contractor to build buildings, and he was doing that for 10 years, and made a lot of money, and then after 10 years, so the whole thing went bankrupt, and he lost everything, and he went back to teaching. And he told me like, honestly, that like the entire 10 years, he got nothing out of it. He got zero, nothing. Like, he was doing something which was more, in Rabbi Nachman's terminology, he was more tachlis and nitzchi. He was doing stuff which was more connected to this eternal goal of teaching Torah, helping people become better people, and he pushed it aside to just make money. And he spent 10 years of his life. It's a long time, 10 years. And I heard once that people have a tendency to overestimate how much you can do in 1 year and underestimate how much you can do in 10 years. Ever heard this? That is like in 10 years you can like so much can change in 10 years. You can do it's really like the world can change in 10 years, and so 10 years like which is like mamish, like a lifetime. And he 10 years he went down the drain. Like I'm sure like it wasn't mamish down the drain. I'm sure like every now and then he was able to have a nice conversation with somebody. I'm sure he was a good father during those 10 years. But like in terms of what he was doing from his 9 to 5, zero. Mamish got nothing out of it. And this is so many people that they're living the good life and the fast lane, and they're trying to become rich and they're trying to be successful, and at the end they get nothing. And so that one or the other, either that Hashem takes the money from the person, or he takes the person from the money. A little bit harsh. Now he says a funny thing. I'm not sure what he means exactly. He says, where's all the money? Where's all the money that's been, since the beginning of time, there's been money. Mm-hmm. And we keep on making more money and more money. Where does it all go? I'm not sure exactly if he doesn't understand how archaeology works, but the metaphor is certainly true that there's a lot of money and nobody has it. There's so much money and like everybody's struggling. So like there's there's truth to this. That like it's really
the money wouldn't be valuable.
That's also true. I mean the archaeological stuff is the most valuable. Yeah. But anyway. So the first point is that a person shouldn't be so obsessed with money. A person shouldn't be obsessed with becoming rich, and because the truth is that the rich people, that they don't really enjoy life more, and they certainly don't serve Hashem more, and they certainly aren't better parents, and they aren't better spouses, and they're not better friends, and maybe they buy a shawl or two. But that doesn't make it that their life is more valuable. It doesn't make it that their life that they're happy with this decision. That they're happy that yes, I'm so happy that I lived the life of a billionaire. Okay, now Rabbi Nachman continues with his second piece of advice that he got on this rant. This is Lavod Hashem. Any idea miush yochalemer shi'avadas Hashem lefi gedulas habar yisbarach. I don't know of anybody that can claim that they can serve Hashem in accordance with how great and how awesome Hashem really is. If a person even knows a little bit, if a person has a glimpse of how great Hashem is, then it's completely ridiculous that he should think that he's serving Hashem properly. Even an angel can't claim to be serving Hashem properly because Hashem is so awesome. And therefore, says Rabbi Nachman, the most important thing is ratzon. Ratzon means desire. The most important thing is to have a desire to serve Hashem. That your desire should be strong and steadfast, constantly to come close to Hashem. Of course, everybody wants to be close to Hashem, right? But there's one thing and there's one thing. There's different levels of wanting. Even one person himself, between one moment to the next moment. So sometimes he wants for real, and sometimes he wants a little bit less. The most important thing is that a person should have yearning and will to come close to Hashem. And through the desire, So you're going to do mitzvahs, you're going to learn. Because the truth is that anything that we do, any avodas Hashem, any davening, any mitzvahs, any learning Torah, so if we would know how really we should be serving Hashem, how awesome Hashem actually is, so then it would be so clear to us that everything we do is so nothing. It's so worthless. It's like a joke. It's like a joke. Keneged Gulasi Yisbarach. B'lashon Ashkenaz klamersht. I'm not sure what a klamersht is, but it's a joke. It's a nothing. So he says that the person needs to know that, like, I'm sorry to burst your bubble, but you think you're serving Hashem. If you would have any inkling of how awesome Hashem is, you would realize that nothing you're doing even come close to how you should be serving Hashem. And you should just have a reality check that anybody that thinks that they're actually serving Hashem properly. So if you think that that's what Hashem deserves, then you're delusional. You're delusional. If you think that you can really... Now, of course, this is what he's not saying a philosophical thing. That from a philosophical place, a person can say that Hashem is perfect, so Hashem doesn't need you. Wow, I thought that Hashem, it's dark for him, so when we light Shabbos candles, then he's not in the dark anymore. So he says, oh, thank you, I was really dying for you to light the Shabbos candles. I thought he was bored. He was bored, and he was just going crazy in his room. And then we say, Hashem, hi, Baruch Atah Hashem, Modani L'fanecha. She says, oh, finally, somebody wants to talk to me. I'm bored out of my brains. That obviously, we understand that Hashem doesn't need us. Hashem doesn't need us in those ways, right? That he's way after that. He's saying after we understand that Hashem, of course Hashem doesn't need us, but even though Hashem doesn't need us, but I thought that my service of Hashem is something, because I thought that I do my best. I do I'm in this reality that Hashem gives me everything. Hashem gives me life. Hashem gives me my health, and so I need to serve Him in return for that. He deserves it, and so that's why I follow mitzvahs. That's why I follow mitzvahs. That's why I keep Shabbos. And so Rabbi Nachman is saying, you think that anything that you're doing, you think that it comes close. You think you're paying back your debt at the least. You think you're coming to 1% of your debt you owe Hashem. You'll never come close to 1% of the debt you owe Hashem. Hashem gives you everything. And whoop-de-doo, you kept Shabbos. Toda Rabba. So he's saying a person could think that, yeah, I serve Hashem because He deserves it, and I'm doing my part. I'm doing my part. So Rabbi Nachman is saying, sorry to burst your bubble, but you're nothing. You're nothing. Nothing you will ever do. Even if you would keep on doing this and triple it, quadruple it, and do it for the next 5,000 lifetimes, you're still nothing. You're still worthless. Sorry, from Hashem's perspective, nothing that you do it doesn't come close to at all fulfilling your debt, and that's why he wants us to make a shift in mentality. Stop thinking about what you're doing, and because really the real truth is that everything you're doing is actually nothing, and the only thing that you can actually do, which is real, is desire. The only thing that's real is that I wish I could really serve Hashem. I wish I could really be close to Hashem. I wish I could really do my tachlis, do my purpose in this world. That's real. That's actually real. And so to have this shift from what I'm doing to what I desire to do. So this is a very, very awesome shift in mentality. And so his first advice was that first of all, stop getting distracted. Don't think that you're going to be rich. Don't think that getting rich is going to get you to a good place in heaven. I don't think that it's going to get you to a good place in terms of I'm going to turn me into a good Jew, because the whole reason why I'm not a good Jew is because I'm not a billionaire. So I'll work for 50 years to become a billionaire, and then I'll be able to be a good Jew. But it's not going to work. And then the two actually work together. People that want to be billionaires. So it comes from a statistical kind of way of looking at life. When you're a businessman, so everything is about what's your net profit. Like how much are you making? How much are you doing? How much are you accomplishing? So a person with this mentality of like, I want to end up to be a millionaire. So he's going to look at himself and he says like, this is what I want to do. This is how many mishnayos I want to learn. This is how much I want to daven. And like, it's about a checklist. It's about a checklist. It's about doing. It's about accomplishing. And like, Ibn Nachman is saying that like when you're looking at spirituality from the perspective of a businessman, so then by definition you're going to be misrepresented, because everything, all the statistics on the paper, it's all like, he's like, you can imagine him like walking over to your test and like taking a look and like big X, like a big 0. You got a 0. And like, it's like, I've been working on this for the past 6 months. So this is the A++. So 0. And the other guy that's like that he really wants. So like, if you really want, that's real. That's to desire is real, because that's really the only thing that even from Hashem's perspective, that Hashem is saying that, yeah, I see this guy really wants. The guy that says that I really did something, so Hashem laughs at him. It's a klemersht. But the guy that wants, so Hashem says that's real. I like that I accept. That counts for something. The fact that you want to be. And Rabbi Nachman says that there's levels of wanting. That I've shared with you before that the Pius Hatzner Rebbe, that his Yotzei was 2 weeks ago. So he has a book called Bnei Machshava Tova, and this book Bnei Machshava Tova, it's like this club that he put together, that for his students to get together to speak about Avodas Hashem, and so he writes there that this club, it's only for people who are really not okay with how distant they are from Hashem. And then he writes, and I don't mean that you don't understand, that you understand logically. I don't mean that you understand logically that you're not serving Hashem the way that you would like to. If you don't understand logically that you're not serving Hashem properly, then you're just a psycho. But I mean that you're emotionally connected to this. Like every once in a while you break down crying because you're so far from Hashem. Like those are the kind of people that I want in my group. Those are the people that I want in this chabura. If it's not the way you are, so like do yourself a favor, do us a favor. We're not for you, you're not for us. Then he writes like, to be honest, I'm not even so happy about the fact that you're reading my book. But like, there's nothing I can do about it. And so like this is a level of desire. Like he's talking about that there's a person that understands logically, intellectually, that I'm far from Hashem, I'm far from fulfilling my purpose in life. And then this person that like it gets to him, this person that he wants so much that he just breaks down. He so much wants to be in a better place that he can't take it anymore. And that's something real. That when you're crying out, because it's like you reach this rock bottom. Like, I can't take it anymore. I cannot deal with being so far from Hashem. I cannot deal with the fact that I'm so far from what I would like to be accomplishing with my life. So that's desire. That's real desire. Desire is not whining. Desire is breaking. Desire is when you've reached this breaking point, when you've reached the place that you actually can't take it anymore. Like people that just like think about it or whine about it, complain about it. So that's like just a defense mechanism to just avoid the reality. That's not called real desire. So Ibn Nachman says that there's levels of desire, there's levels of ratzon, there's levels of yearning, there's levels of kisufim, and that's what we should be asking ourselves. We shouldn't be asking ourselves, how much did I do? We should be asking ourselves, how much do I want? Because really that's the only thing that's real. That's the only thing that the more that you really want, so then that means something to Hashem. Like the more that you shouldn't be. That's how our cheshbon nefesh, like how we assess ourselves, how we judge ourselves, should not be, are we doing okay? It's that, are we wanting enough? It's such an amazing mental shift. So next thing he says is v'gam chachmas einam klum, v'ak tmimus upshitus. That not only are all your mitzvahs nothing, all of your intellect is nothing. You think that you understand something about life. I promise you, after you studied in the best yeshivas with the wisest people in the world, and you wrote a PhD on how to be the perfect human being, Rabbi Nachman says, I promise you, 0. It's 0. You understand me? You understand?
Idea.
I think it's the opposite of Chabad.
No, because Chabad is like we're all Russia.
No. He's saying that don't think you understand. Don't think you understand anything about life. That all of your chachmas, the people that really work hard to understand. So after they think they understand, so it's all nothing. It's all nothing. So really, what's the best way to go about it? Just tmimus pshitus. Just be simple. Just be a simple person. Tmimus, he says, also li'ashaita. When you're simple, so you're not allowed to be dumb. Not to be dumb. There's a difference between being simple and being dumb. This is one of the things that in Rabbi Nachman's story, the Chacham B'Tam. So the first thing he says about the Tam, the first thing he says about the simple person is that not that he was foolish. He wasn't a tippish. That it's very, very important for him to clarify that being simple is not the same thing as being foolish. The person who's foolish, so he doesn't know how to make decisions. A person who's foolish is impulsive. A person who's foolish, so he makes bad decisions. A person who's simple, so he doesn't make bad decisions. He follows his intuition. He follows his heart. Right? It's very. There's something very beautiful about being simple. And he says that if you follow the simple direction of your heart, so then you're going to be in a much better place than if you think you understand. If you think that you have the chachmat. Okay, and not only is he says that it's not that the chachmas are nothing. He says that it's not good to be a zaken. There's something that it's an awesome teaching that I don't believe other people talk about this. Ein tov li zaken. It's the worst thing. It's a horrible thing to be old. It's a horrible thing to be old. Hen chassid zaken, hen tzaddik zaken. That it can be a real chassid, a real chassidish yid, and in every meaning of the term. But you're old. An old chassid is a bad thing. You can be a tzaddik, but you're an old tzaddik. It's a horrible thing to be an old tzaddik. And so what does this mean? Zaken ein tov, ki tzarech rak lehitchadesh b'kol yom lehatchil b'kol eit mechadash. That to be a yid means that you're constantly renewing. You're constantly starting again, and which is the opposite of being old. I think we gave a class about this a couple of weeks ago because he talks about in Memtes. He talks about new beginnings, starting again over and over and over. And to be old means like there's a term that I'm too old to learn new tricks. Like this is who I am. This is who I am. Like when you're a little kid, so like people ask you, what do you want to be when you grow up? And so that when you grow up, so then they stop asking you, what do you want to be when you grow up? Right? So Rabbi Nachman says that we should be asking the 80-year-olds, like, tell me, what do you want to be when you grow up? And he should have the same innocence and the same excitement that a 5-year-old has. The same way that a 5-year-old feels like his whole life is ahead of him, so the 80-year-old, why should the 80-year-old also feel like his whole life is ahead of him? He has 40 years. You can do so much in 40 years, and it's really true. Like it doesn't have to be 80. It could also be 40. It could also be a person feels like, okay, now I'm an adult, so now I should stop asking myself, like, what am I going to do when I grow up? I am what I am. It is what it is, and this is called being old. This is called being old. The Rebbe Nachman talks about the fact that the Shlomo Melech says that the Yetzer Hara is called zaken. The Yetzer Hara, he says, the Yetzer Hara is called Melech Zaken Uksil. He's a king who is old and foolish. And the Yetzer Tov is called Yeled Misken V'Chacham. It's called the child. That the Yetzer Tov is about being a child. Yetzer Tov is about, I was born today. Like the sky's the limit. Like the world's my oyster. I can do whatever I want. And being old is like, okay, this is who I am, right?
But you said that the Yetzer Tov is Misken. What does that translate in that?
Poor.
Just really poor.
Misken.
Something wrong with it.
Right. No, in Lashon HaKodesh, misken means poor, and being poor means that I need Hashem. That he realizes that he's dependent, right? As opposed to the Yetzer Hara, that he thinks that like I'm good. I don't need anybody. I'm self-sufficient. That's the so. So the Yetzer Hara is that I'm old, and he says this Yetzer Hara, so it bothers tzaddikim. You can be an old tzaddik. And it's a very bad thing to be an old tzaddik. Rabbi Nachman writes, he says in Chaim Haran, it's recorded that like literally he didn't like old people. Not that he didn't like old people, but like he didn't look for Hasidim. He didn't look for students in the old people. Because he knew, and Rabbi Nachman writes that there were some old people that became Hasidim of Rabbi Nachman, but the truth is that they didn't connect to him the same way that the younger people did. That like when you're an old person, so like to some extent, like it's hard to escape this phenomenon that when you become old, you feel like, okay, this is who I am,
Not
like,
necessarily.
Not necessarily. He's telling you. He's telling you not to.
They want to connect to God.
He's mamish telling you not to. He's mamish telling you not to. But it's a phenomenon. It's a phenomenon that a lot of people, when they get old, so then they have this feeling, okay, like this is who I am. I want to make the most of the rest of my life, but they don't feel like I can become a new person. They don't feel like I can start a new life. Yeah.
There was something in last week's parsha, in the commentary in the art scroll, that said like something along these lines of like how there was something about the gathering of people that Abraham and Sarah had coming along with them, that like it was the ones who were like born into the like following Abraham's way of life,
Oh, sure.
that actually like were true and like certain in this way of being, and those were the ones who were like to be dependent upon to continue forward with it, like no matter all of the weird challenges that Hashem gave them.
Interesting.
So I guess Rabbi Nachman saw the same.
Yeah. So Rabbi Nachman literally, he didn't like dealing with old people. Okay, I was just scanning the room to make sure that there's no old people here. So Baruch Hashem, that would have been awkward. What?
I mean, I guess you're saying it's more than just the fact that he was so young, that it would be unlikely that somebody that's older was going to listen to him saying such novel things too.
It's not unlikely. Like you have all the time that well, if you would see Rabbi Nachman, you would also you would understand. I don't think, but there were older people that came to him, Rabbi Nachman writes, and but because they were old, they they didn't have that same fire, that same passion that the younger people had, and because it's an unfortunate phenomenon that people who are old, so like they feel like this is this is who I am, like and so this is.
What do you mean when you say this is who I am?
Sorry?
What do you mean when you say this is who I am?
Just take me, accept me. Like I don't tell myself, I stop telling myself, I'm going to change, I'm going to become a different person. I accept that I have my flaws, I accept that I have my constraints, and like I'll give up on that dream of being that person that I thought I was going to be when I was a child, and just accept mediocrity. That's what it means to be old. Right?
To accept mediocrity?
To accept mediocrity. And that's like I mean it's better than beating yourself up. It's better than beating yourself up, but it's worse than saying tomorrow's going to be better. That I have another 40 years of my life, 80 to 120, and to make not just improve, to completely turn myself around, to become this person that you won't recognize me.
If you're saying you embrace mediocrity, it sounds like settling.
Oh, exactly. No, embracing mediocrity is what it means to be old, which is the enemy. Rabbi Nachman here is speaking against becoming old, and I'm defining becoming old as embracing mediocrity.
So you're not talking about like when old people like start to become more religious.
I'm all for old people becoming religious.
No, because a lot of old people do, because it's like, oh, it's the end of my life, like.
Right.
And then they start to question, oh, I'm gonna die. Like,
right.
Where do I want to go? You know?
That's pretty pathetic, right?
No, I don't think that's pathetic at all.
No, that part is great. The pathetic part is the first 90 years.
Right.
You knew it now. Why? You probably knew it 90 years ago too. Maybe not 90 years ago. Maybe 60 years ago.
Before she died, she became religious.
Perfect. Don't do like her. Don't be like
you start to realize
you be religious for the last 80 years of your life.
But I'm saying there's a reason like old people like you know.
All right. Now he says another thing. Gam hefkeres ein tzrichim. There's another thing that he says that you should stay away from. That's called hefkeres. This is interesting. I didn't know this term before I read this, because like when I was in yeshiva, the word hefkeres means like doing whatever the heck you want. That's how they would refer to hefkeres. Like they would say like, what is this? What is it? Like if everybody was just going crazy and like everything was like making a big mess and like not doing what we're supposed to be doing. What's this hefkeres? Enough of this hefkeres! And like, but that's not what he means. He said when he says hefkeres, he's referring to that people that are so into serving Hashem that they say that I only want to serve Hashem. I only want to learn Torah, and I'm not going to worry about making a living. That's what it calls Hefkeris. And I'm just going to learn, say Tehillim all day and learn Gemara all day, and Hashem will somehow take care of me. And come Hefkeris, he says, don't go for this. Hefkeris.
Then what of it, like, I got the, like, you get the opposite impression as if he's saying the other way around, like with the story, like the Master of Prayer.
Hold on, so let me just finish the sentence. He says that the truth is that I don't call this Hefkeris. Really, a person that's mufker, a person that's just like letting go, is a person that doesn't care about Hashem. He's a person who's letting go. What the people call Hefkeris, of letting go of the responsibility of making a living, you can be a kosher yid, you can be a good Jew without forgetting about Olam Hazeh, without forgetting about making a living, without forgetting about making a job. You can be totally a part of this world and still be a kosher Jew. Now, I see this as being like a very much a connection of what he says about his second point about a person being so sure that I'm doing it right. I know how to serve Hashem. My mitzvahs are so valuable. My mitzvahs are so precious. When Hashem looks down at the world, he says, "Whoa, it's a shame everybody's messing up, but at least there's Kilstein." That kind of person. That kind of person that's like he's sure that I'm doing it right. I've got this. Like, so Rabbi Nachman is saying I'm bursting your bubble. You're not doing anything right. You have not, even if you would do this for like times a zillion, you would still not come to 1% of what you're supposed to be doing. So Rabbi Nachman is saying this is the mentality of these people that are hefkeris. The people that are saying that I need to be crazy. I need to learn 16 hours a day. I need to kill myself. I need to not sleep. I need to not sleep because like if I learn 16 hours a day and sleep 8 hours a day, so Hashem will say, but like, what about those 8 hours? What about those hours? You need to learn those 8 hours too. So okay. So I won't sleep. I'll learn 14 hours and then I think to myself, hey, I don't really need to eat so much. I can really cut down on the eating. I can only serve Hashem. And I'm not going to eat. I'm not going to sleep. I'm not going to talk. I'm just going to stress. Just have a anxiety-filled life. And that's called Hefkeris. I'm not going to work because how can I work? I need to serve Hashem. And Rabbi Nachman says, you know why you're thinking like that? You think that if you actually serve Hashem like with Hefkeris, then you get a check. Then you get an A++. And sorry to burst your bubble, but after all the Hefkeris, Hashem looks at you and he says, 0. and like, who do you think you are? Who do you think you are that you're serving Hashem so great that this is mamish. It's coming from this assumption that I'm capable of really being the tzaddik, of really fulfilling my. There's a vart that when Rabbi Kiva, when they were torturing him and killing him, so it says that the malachim, the angels, so they cried out, "Zutarev v'zoschara," and so this is what he deserves, and so Hashem said, "Shtoik, be quiet." He says to the angels, "Kach also b'machshava." This is the thought that came before me. So there's everybody asks what's it mean? Kach also b'machshava. So there's one of the commentaries is that the Gemara says that originally Hashem wanted to create the world with judgment. He saw that if I'm going to run the world for judgment, then who can stand? That nobody can stand before Hashem's judgment. And so the Amad V'Shittif Alav Rachamim. That's why he connected compassion together with the judgment. So the Gemara says that that this is the one time in history, this is the one time in human history that somebody was able to live in accordance with that original machshava. That machshava, to live according to judgment, to live according to to give Hashem what He deserves. So Rebbe Kiva was the first one to do this, and that when he was living through this torture and dying al Kiddush Hashem, so he's the one person in history that was fulfilling this living according to judgment. Right? So a person thinks that you're learning Torah so much, you're doing mitzvahs, you think you're really doing mitzvahs, you really think your Torah is up to par, you think that Hashem says, okay, yeah, he deserves his existence. You still don't deserve your existence. And that's why there's an internal dishonesty in telling yourself that if I'm going to go crazy, then I'm actually serving Hashem properly, because sorry, you're still not serving Hashem properly. Better just to wish that you could serve Hashem. You'd be much better off if you would wish that you would serve Hashem than to pretend that you're actually serving Hashem. There was a tzaddik, one second, there was a tzaddik that, I think it was Reb Melech Mendezhinsk, that he saw, that he was talking to one of his students, and he saw this chassid, that he was on the way to the mikveh, and then 20 minutes later, so he was on the way back. And so when he went on the way back, so Rebbe Melech told the student, you ever saw such a crazy thing? He went to the mikveh so clean, so pure, and he came back from the mikveh so dirty, so filthy. And so the student didn't understand. I mean, maybe if you would have seen the mikveh, you would have understood. But Rebbe Melech said that when he was on the way to the mikveh, so he felt so like such nothing. He felt so broken. He felt like, Hashem, you need to fix me. Hashem, I'm so far from you. And Rebbe Melech said that feeling of a broken heart, that feeling of needing to be fixed, that was so pure, that was so holy. And then he went to the mikveh, and what do you think? That, finally, now I'm pure. And that feeling, that now I'm pure, that is the most filthy feeling that you could possibly have. So he went to the mikveh clean, and he came out of the mikveh dirty. Yeah.
I was wondering what you were just saying about the affairs. That it was more the point of that he was this. So the person shouldn't be full of themselves and think I'm so whatever. Because it's then there's other quotes where it sounds like that he inspired people just to be focusing on the story with I think this is from the first volume of the Likkutei Moharan, the black ones, or either the commentary or the introduction. Something that after Reb Nosson first met him, that Reb Nosson had a store. And then his wife, who's from a Misnagish family, was very bothered that now he's not in the store anymore and he's just learning all day. And she goes to her father and said, should I divorce him? He's not in the store anymore. And he said, wait, but he's learning all day. Okay, fine. But he was okay with that, I guess. But and then there's other quotes where
there could be exceptions.
That one could do his bodhidus all day. So then the story is master prayer. So it sounds as if he's pushing one side, but you're saying it's not really. It depends on. It's
clear from this Torah that he's saying the opposite. It's clear from this Torah. Maybe for Reb Nosson that was an exception. Maybe by Reb Nosson himself that was an exception, because he knew that Reb Nosson needed to be his.
Not necessarily his other Talmudim.
Yeah, and it seems very clear from here that he thinks that as a way of life, it's not a way of life. Yeah.
If Hashem created us and gave us instructions about the Torah, how could he not need us? If it didn't help him, our Torah and mitzvos, why would he create a world with these instruction guides of this is what we should do?
That's a big question. That is discussed in the book Derech Hashem. But the bottom line is certainly that he does not need us. The reason why he created the world is not because he was bored. It's not because he was lonely. It's not because he loves the steaks that we bring him in the Beis Hamikdash, and it's not that. We could talk after what it was, but Rabbi Nachman is saying that nothing that we could possibly do for him.
So why did God create us?
That's what it says in Derech Hashem, right? So to recap what we have so far, that first of all he says not to be obsessed with being a billionaire. Number two, not to be obsessed with that you're not to think that you're the biggest tzaddik. Once you're the biggest tzaddik, that it's not even the biggest tzaddik is very far from serving Hashem. It's just the most important thing is to want to serve Hashem, and don't think that you understand anything. Even the people that spend years in university trying to understand things, so they don't understand things, and really just you're better off to be simple. And don't be that person that knows. Don't be that guy. Don't be that person that thinks that don't be that old person that says, I've reached the level of understanding that I understand what I'm capable of. I understand what the world is about, and it's a horrible thing. I remember seeing I remember I was in yeshiva, and this friend of mine that he was saying, when I was little in yeshiva, came into Rosh Hashanah, and said, this year I'm really going to do tshuva. And come on, we're past that already. That's what little kids think. And I remember cringing that how could you possibly think that you're already old? You're already ready to go to the old age home. You're 21 years old. You're 3 years. 3 years. You said you're going to do tshuva and it didn't exactly work. So you've already given up on the rest of your life. It's so pathetic. And there's something magical about the innocence of a child. And that to be old is when you lose that innocence. But together with not being old is not to go crazy, not to have hefkeris, not to think that if only I just skip lunch, then I'll finally be able to serve Hashem. And there's a last point that he says that I think is it's very good in balancing out everything that he said until now. And then he says, it seems like to fly in the face of everything he's telling until now, that the world says you don't need to be so great. And I say, you need the greatest. You need to be the greatest. What does he mean? You need to search after the biggest tzaddik. Do not suffice with a class B tzaddik. You need the class A tzaddik, and not just the class A tzaddik, you need the biggest tzaddik. So he talks about this in Likutei Moharan. This is a paraphrase of something that he says in Likutei Moharan, Torah Lamed. It's actually this is something that I was so excited when I saw this in Likutei Moharan, because this is something that I thought of myself before I saw it in Likutei Moharan. The Rebbe writes over there that the sicker that a person is, so the greater doctor he needs. If a person is basically okay, so then you can go to a regular doctor. But when you're almost dead, then you need to go to the best doctor alive. So a person can think, a person has a tendency to think, look, I'm so little, I'm so small, I'm so far from Hashem. I can take a regular rabbi, because halavai I should get to him. If I be like him, I'll be in great shape. Rabbi Nachman says, no, you're making a mistake. If you're actually so sick, then you need to go to the top specialist in the world. And that's how he was looking at himself. He was saying, you need me. You need me. None of this Litvish stuff, none of this Chabad stuff. You need the best, the soul doctor of all time. You need Rabbi Nachman, and you need the best doctor. You mamish need the best doctor, and so a person could, after hearing all of this whole tirade, that enough, don't think that you're going to be a billionaire. Don't think you're going to be a tzaddik. Don't think just be simple. Just be simple. So then you can say that, okay, so I'll be simple. I'll just have I don't even need a rabbi. I'll just try my best. No, you need the biggest rabbi. You absolutely need the biggest rabbi. And if you think about it, like how we search for rabbis, this is actually the greatest expression of desire. This is the greatest expression of yearning. This is the greatest expression of wanting to be close to Hashem. And so the way that we express the fact that we really, really want to be close to Hashem is in the fact that we look for the greatest mentor. We look for the person that's going to bring us as far as we can get. So I bless us all that we should be able to chill out. We should be able to to not take ourselves so seriously, not take life so seriously, to know that even if we do our best, we're still not going to make it, and that's why we can actually chill out. But there's one thing that we should not chill out about, and that is about desire. We should be very serious about wanting to be in a better place and desiring to be close to Hashem, and as that expresses itself in finding the biggest Rebbe, B'ezrat Hashem.
Yay! Thank